Now put.
No, I'm going to recognise the Honourable Member Stephen Browning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I think you said it right.
Stephen.
Mr. Chairman, in the when the bill was in the previous stage, I mentioned there, and I'm hoping that the Minister will be able to help me a little bit with some stuff that I brought up at that point, that this bill and the Greens, we support this bill because of the elements of anti-dumping in here, although we are very concerned with the free trade agreements that make this so apparently necessary. In there, I had a particular concern about the terminology serious injury, meaning that businesses that might get some level of protection under here had to be under threat of what was considered serious injury, and in here that means a significant overall impairment in the position of domestic industry. And I read that, and I read it now as there's no protection for anything less. So I would like to hear from the Minister what that level of would be, or what the examples would be where businesses would get protection and where they wouldn't get protection. The Minister suggested, within as many standing orders, that he would be able to answer some of these questions. And I'll just reiterate the earlier ones that we've expressed interest in, is the safeguard investigation in Clause 7, confidentiality in Clause 10.1, the strategic importance in Clause 12.1e, public interest, and then we've also got the ministerial discretion. And we've just heard a little bit about the ministerial discretion and some concern about where that might go. We have some real concern about where this might go as well, albeit we're supporting it because we do need to have some sort of safeguard measures. But this is a temporal bill. This doesn't protect New Zealand businesses for too long. I think the longest is something, about 8 years or something like that. And it is really just time to set up businesses to move into something else. It needs to be a little more substantive. So I would put it to the Minister that if he could answer those questions that we've been put a couple of times already, but particularly let me know some examples of where serious injury would be the definition and what wouldn't be, because I'm really interested in protecting and seeing protection for New Zealand producers and New Zealand processors, New Zealand manufacturers from the excesses of the free trade agreements that seem to have been allowed through the successive governments here. So we'll leave it to the Minister, and thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker.
I call the Honourable Minister John Banks.